Hey guys, Mr. Eterno here. Wanted to give you guys a quick tutorial on the Google Slides project, specifically for the works cited slide. All right. So let me go ahead and show you guys how to do this. So if we open up the assignments, of course on yours, you're just going to go to My Document. Again, your button looks a little different than mine or your view because I have assignment, then I can see how you guys are doing in progress and then the ones that are submitted. For you guys, you just have the My Document to take you to there. But you notice on the template, which is all blank, there's no works cited slide. So first we want to add a slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click. If you're selecting a slide, it's going to be, you might have to do a couple clicks, but like right after the last slide, after your final thought slide, you can click. And this is a left click, and you'll see this line right here. And then I want to right click on this and click New Slide. And you guys probably have already at this point applied a theme. So you'll add a new slide and it'll ask you like with that same theme, you want to keep the same theme, same background. And we're going to go ahead and title this one, centerline the title, Works Cited, right? And then we're going to do our citation. And if we look at the folder, I have a MLA Works Cited guide for you guys. This one's the 8th edition. I think the 9th edition just came out though, like maybe end of April 2021. So I haven't updated this one yet, but I think we're going to be okay. Usually it's minor differences every time they change stuff, but don't worry about this if this looks confusing because it's a lot of stuff here for different types of sources. So the one we need is right at the end, so it's easy to find. It's going to be a page on a website, right? And so the format is we're going to go last name and first name of author, which for websites, a lot of times you don't know. If you don't know the author's name, that's totally fine. You're just going to omit it and you're going to start with the next thing, which would be the article name or the web page name, okay, of that specific page you're on. And then it's going to be title of website. Sponsor is who created the site. The date created is when it was last created or updated. Now, sometimes they don't have dates. If that's the case, you're going to use ND for no date. Okay? And then you're going to put the URL. Now, you don't need the URL of that specific page because those pages can get really confusing here. Hold on. Let me go to this. Open up a California Colleges link here. So I'll show you on one. Like, I'm going to use the search tool here. So let's say I did engineering. Like where my brother's like has a computer engineering background. So if I do computer engineering, if I can spell it right. Look, if I can spell it right, there we go. Do computer engineering, okay. I'll probably do hardware engineer, do this one. Okay. So, you see up here, so usually you're gonna find the date either near the top or the bottom. So in this case, when we're using career cruising, you want to look right here. Do you see how it says career data was last updated? So the date I'm going to put is going to be this August 2020 for last updated. Okay. Sometimes it'll be at the bottom, but for this one, it's up at the top. Okay. Oh, and then we talked about the sponsor, which is just another name of like who created the website. This one's State of California. See right here, in the kind of the bottom right. So let me go back to this. And then the date of, for URL, this is what I was actually going to talk to you guys about. On URLs, when you're on a specific page, see how they have all of this stuff that's kind of extra confusing? Now in old versions of MLA, they said for the URL to include this, but then they realized in subsequent versions, and once people got kind of more used to the internet, that these addresses can change when they make updates to the website. So then a link could be what's called a dead link, right? So it's kind of like, even though this is an address, it's not like the address of where you live. So like if where you live, your street address is always going to be the same, right? You come back probably 20 years from now, your address would be the same of where you are right now. But for the internet, these can change, right? So they realize that. So in subsequent versions of MLA, what they're saying is for your Works Cited page, you're just going to use you can just use the site address, okay? Like this right here. You're not actually going to use the specific page address, because again, this can change. And in your citation, since you give them the article name, or in our case, it's kind of the page name, they're assuming that your reader could find that if they needed to, right? And then so that was URL. It's like the web address. And then the last one's going to be date of access. That's when you went on and got this information, okay? And you want to just kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. Ideally, it's the day you went on, but I know we've been working on this for a little while, so you can kind of use your best kind of guess, best estimate. And we're going to put this access, and remember with MLA, instead of going month, day, year, we go out of order. We go day first as a number, month as a word, and then year. Okay? Oh, and then one other thing I wanted to point out with Works Cited is it's kind of the opposite indentions as a regular paragraph. Right? So normally when we're writing, we indent the first line and the rest of them all start at the margin. But with Works Cited entries, it's the exact opposite. So the first line is actually going to start right against the margin here. And any additional lines, if we have a second or third line and so on, are going to be indented. Now the thing is, it's kind of a trick to do this. So let's say this is normal, right? If we were trying to indent the first line, all I have to do is go put my cursor here, go tab, boom, right? But if I try to do that for a second or third line, it doesn't work. It's going to try to autocorrect. So what we have to do is, when we put our cursor at the beginning of that second line, I'm going to press enter once, and it looks like nothing happened, but what we actually did is we broke apart this first line from the second line, so they're no longer connected. Now when I press tab, boom, it'll tab it, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing for this line, because if I don't, see, they're connected. It kind of messed up my formatting. So I want to press enter once, boom. And this one auto-corrected for me. It realized, oh, hey, you're trying to indent it, and moved it over. If it didn't, I would have just pressed the tab button, okay? So if you notice here, my example is for secondary teachers, right? So if I wanted to, because I'm going to give you guys this, you guys will have this in Schoology, so you can use most of it and just, copy it, and all you're really changing is the article name. You're going to check the date updated. You're probably going to change this. Website is the same. And the access date. So you're only really changing three things. You're changing that career page name to whatever career yours is. The date updated, you're going to change that. And then when you actually accessed it. Okay? So I'll actually change this one to this computer and hardware engineer one, right? So I'm on the page here. So this is the title of the page. That's career. So I'm going to go and I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this to computer hardware engineer. And notice for the page or article name, I've got quotation marks around, so you're going to leave those quotations there. Okay, so this is going to mess up my formatting because remember, I disconnected these lines. So I'm going to put my cursor over here, backspace, backspace, reconnect it. I'll do the same thing here with my third line just so that they're all together, and then once I'm done, I'll kind of fix the formatting. Now, remember I said we want to change this right here. This is date created or updated, right? So I'm going to go look on the page, and they updated this August 2020. So go over here. I'm going to change this to August 2020. Okay. Site name's the same, but then date of access, right? So let's say I went on today, and that's when I actually took my notes and everything. So today's the 20th of, I don't have to change that much. Today's the 20th of May, see down here, but 2021. So I'm going to change this to 2021. Okay. Now I've got a 2-line entry, right? So it's a little bit shorter. This is perfect because I'm at the margin. This one, though, I want to indent, right? So again, I got to press enter. It looks like nothing happened, but I separated those 2 lines. Now I press tab. Perfect. I'm all done. All right, sorry guys. This one's a little bit longer than most of my videos, but I wanted to kind of slow it down and go really step by step, because sometimes this is something with citations that kind of freaks people out and they get overwhelmed by. But as you can see, it was pretty simple, right? Because basically the whole point of this Works Cited page, whether it's an R project here for business tech or whether you'd be in English class or history, is basically so that when you have that evidence in your text, if maybe your reader wants to read more about it, if maybe they think, hey, did you take something out of context, they can go and check that, right? Oh, and also one last note, we're only going to have one source, but if you had multiple sources, you would put them in alphabetical order based on whatever the first word is, okay, in your entry, whether that would be your author's last name, or if there's no author, whether it's that article or page name. All right? Thanks, guys. Sorry again for being long. Bye.